What if I told you that being good with money it has way less to do with what you know and almost everything to do with how you act? Today, we're diving into Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money, to figure out why our behavior, not our brilliance, is the real secret to building wealth. So let's just get right to the core of it. Housel kicks things off with a question that really gets to the heart of why money is such a source of stress and confusion for so many of us. I mean, you've seen this, right? People with advanced degrees, high-paying jobs, they're brilliant in their own fields, but somehow they're buried in debt or just constantly worried about their finances. And the reason for this, as Housel points out, has almost nothing to do with how smart they are. See, we're all kind of trained to think of finance as this hard science, all spreadsheets and formulas and complex calculations. But Housel's big idea is that it's actually a soft skill. It's less about the math you can do and so much more about your mindset, how you handle that emotional roller coaster of greed and fear. That's a way better predictor of your long-term success than some super complex financial model you built. Okay, so this leads us to the first huge insight from the book. And it's a distinction that is absolutely critical, but one that, honestly, most people just completely miss. All right, first up, being rich. This is the stuff we see. It's the high income, the flashy car, the big house, the vacations you see plastered all over Instagram. It's visible, it's loud, and it's what our society often confuses for real financial success. But wealth is totally different. Wealth is the money you don't see. It's the income you didn't spend, the investments that are quietly compounding in the background. Wealth isn't about showing off. It's about buying your own security, your own freedom and flexibility for whatever comes next. The best way to think about it is like an iceberg. That flashy car, the big house, that's just the small tip we all see sticking out of the water. Real wealth, that's the massive, unseen part of the iceberg below the surface. It's the financial stability that lets you navigate all of life's inevitable storms. And Housel's point is that we're all way too focused on polishing that tiny tip when we should be building the massive base underneath. Okay, so if building wealth is the real goal, what's stopping us from actually doing it, especially when our paychecks get bigger? Well, this brings us to another huge psychological trap that Housel points out, that endless, dangerous pursuit of more. And this leads to maybe one of the most powerful lines in the entire book. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. Think about it. You get a raise, right? You feel great for like a minute. But then, almost instantly, your expectations just recalibrate. The goalpost moves, and suddenly you're right back where you started, chasing the next bigger, better thing. And this kicks off a really dangerous cycle. You earn more money, so you spend more money. That's lifestyle creep. The nicer apartment, the better car, that all becomes your new normal. But here's the kicker. You're no happier. So what happens next? You start taking even bigger risks, always chasing a more that, as Hauser warns us, is a finish line that's designed to keep moving just out of reach. All right, so if that endless chase for more is just a trap, what's the way out? What's the alternative? This is where we get to what Housel argues is the ultimate purpose of money, the real prize we should all be aiming for. So Housel lays out this really powerful choice. You can use your money to buy more things, which sure, gives you a temporary thrill. Or you can use that same money to buy something way more valuable, something that lasts, control over your own time. This right here, that is the highest form of wealth. It's not just about retiring early to some beach somewhere. It's about having the power to choose your work, to take a few months off if a family member gets sick, or to just walk away from a job that's crushing your soul. That level of control, that's the real dividend that wealth pays you. So how do you actually get there? The practical tool for achieving that freedom is building what Housel calls a margin of safety. And look, it's not complicated. It's savings. It's a buffer. It's the financial cushion that protects you when life inevitably throws a curveball your way. And maybe more importantly, it gives you the power to say no to a bad situation and the patience to wait for a great one. Now, all of these ideas, they might sound like timeless wisdom, and you know what? They are. But what's so fascinating is how perfectly they diagnose the economic anxieties and behaviors we're seeing all around us, right now, today. Let's really connect the dots here. You take House's idea that no one is crazy? Well, that helps you understand the whole doom spending trend. When people feel like the traditional financial ladder is broken, their spending habits are going to reflect that. Those moving goalposts, that's the social media effect in real time, where lifestyle creep gets put on steroids by an endless feed of comparison. The focus on being rich instead of wealthy, that draws a direct line to why consumer debt is hitting record highs. And that deep, deep desire for control over our own time, that's the engine behind movements like quiet quitting and FIRE, where people are desperately trying to claw back some autonomy over their own lives. So as we wrap this up, the psychology of money really leaves all of us with one simple but critical question to ask ourselves. Is your money buying you things, or is it buying you time? And the answer to that question, as Morgan Housel shows us so clearly, well, that can change absolutely everything.